My job is to somehow make them curious enough or persuade them by hook or crook to get more aware of themselves and where they came from and what they are into and what is already there, and just to bring it out. This is what compels me to compel them, and I will do it by whatever means necessary.
Welcome to the Black Girls Heal podcast, where we talk about healing our intimacy disorders, unresolved trauma, and building a healthy relationship with first ourselves and then others. Every episode, we will talk about advice you can apply today to break unhealthy patterns and grow in your self-worth. I'm Shena, love addiction coach and trauma specialist. Let's begin. Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Black Girls Heal. I hope that you are doing well wherever you are, and I'm sending you so much love. So on today, we are going to talk a little bit about emotional anchors. Emotional anchors are resources that we can tap into within ourselves whenever we are feeling emotional distress or a crisis, frustrated, anxious, what have you. And they can be symbols, they can be people, they can be gestures that we do of connecting to our body. But basically, again, they are resources that help us stay calm. And this came up because we were talking in the recovery school, or one of my students was talking in the recovery school about wanting to be able to come to a place of calm and confidence when in triggering situations. So if they are in a place where they are feeling kind of dysregulated or thrown off, what can they use to get grounded in the moment? And so, we've talked about other tools before, but emotional anchors is not something that I've talked about here on the podcast. And emotional anchors are so beautiful because they are something that you can do literally within your mind's eye. Without moving, without anyone having any sign that this is happening. If you're in a situation or a place where that might be dangerous to do, or you might feel it may be dangerous to do, like with a narcissist or something like that, but that you can tap into this in your body. So in this episode, I'm going to be leading you through one type or one example of an emotional anchor. But first, let me tell you a little bit about what are some more examples of that. Thanks for listening to this week's podcast. Before we get started, let's take a small break to say thank you to this week's sponsors. So y'all know one of my core tenets in helping us flourish in our relationships and mental health is clearing things out that no longer serve us. And for the spring season, I have a suggestion for one way you can start fresh with only the things that help you move forward if you're feeling stuck mentally and are in need of medical support. At forhers.com, you can get access to real medical providers who can prescribe trusted anxiety and depression medication if it's right for you. The process is 100% online, including unlimited check-ins, provider messaging, and support along the way. Plus, to make things even simpler, you can get your first month of treatment for just $25 if prescribed. To get started, go to forhers.com/spring. That's forhers.com/SPRING. And look, I know that for some people, for many of us, most of us, getting access to proper mental health care can be a source of stress in and of itself. And that's why I love that Hers makes it so simple. So again, get started today at forhers.com/spring. That's forhers.com/SPRING. This offer is only available if prescribed. Prescription products do require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. A subscription is also required. Additional restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. So when I was practicing therapy, one of the models that I was trained in is EMDR, which stands for Eye Movement Desensitization Reprocessing. And what that means is that it is, or rather, let me just tell you what we would do. We would use your eye movements or something called bilateral stimulation. So maybe tapping back and forth or getting you to move your body back and forth to reprocess a lot of your traumas. So the way that I also explain this is, how sometimes you can go to sleep when you're really upset or triggered about something and you wake up and you feel a little bit better. That is because of the rapid eye movement that happens during deep sleep, where your brain gets to process what has been happening and kind of make sense of it, and it leaves your body feeling more relief from the day before. So using that same technique in therapy with a lot of different options and alternatives, right? So in doing that type of therapy was super effective for traumas, is one of the top ones for PTSD symptoms and is even complex PTSD. It is not a form of talk therapy, because it allows you to say, okay, I've been struggling with recurring thoughts about this trauma that has happened, and I cannot get to the bottom of it. And you can do EMDR with your therapist. And depending on the depth of the trauma and depending on your ability to do EMDR, which I'm going to talk about more in a moment, you can process through some significant traumas that have been troubling you for a long time within a few sessions. If you are with a practitioner that feels safe for you, that knows what they're doing, and again, if you are a good candidate for EMDR. So I would use it for, of course, PTSD and trauma symptoms, but also for negative thoughts that we find as love addicts, as love avoidants, and people who struggle with love anorexia. The thoughts that plague us and keep us going back to unhealthy situations, that make us practice self-doubt, that make it really hard to feel as if we're moving forward, to give us credit. So thoughts like, I'm not good enough, I'm not loved, I just have this ache whenever I wake up in the morning and I don't know where it comes from and I don't know when it starts. You can use EMDR for all of these nameless, big, vague things that have been keeping you stuck. And I love EMDR. And, I is one of the things that I miss practicing, especially with me coaching people online. And, I'm across seas a lot of times, or for sure in a different city and definitely across a screen. And so I miss being able to say, okay, let's just knock this out. Let's do some EMDR. Let's clear this out in a session and let's move forward. So that's why I try to teach other tools that are very similar to that, or tell you to go and find a therapist that specializes in it. So why am I telling you all this when it comes to emotional anchors? One of the things that we have to prepare our clients for before we go into doing this is emotional anchors, because what EMDR does is it kind of takes you're fully aware, you're not hypnotized and in a hypnotic state at all. However, in the reprocessing of what's going on, you may have different thoughts and memories come up that are related to the trauma or related to something completely different that you didn't even think had anything to do with it. I remember there was one person or one situation that we were talking about relationships, and then a memory about hot dogs came to mind, and having hot dogs at an A&W with their father. And the trauma was not related to their father, but the brain connects all of the things that can be triggers to us, or all of the sensations and memories that happen in our body. Our brain has a map of it. So because you don't know what is connected to, and a lot of times you don't know what's underneath this ache or this pain or this negative self-belief that you just can't shake. You don't know if it is a deeper trauma that you repressed. You don't know if it's a deeper trauma that you thought you were over, but you've just been minimizing it for so long. You need to have an emotional anchor that you can tap into. If we get to a place where you're like, oh, this is hard and I want to stop this, we need to have an emotional anchor that you can immediately connect to in that moment, that's going to provide sunshine and rainbows and relief and safety for you. So they can be things like, what is your happy place? And so we build an emotional connection, we build an emotional resource to where you can Imagine your happy place and feel as if you're there and immediately feel safe. And if it's the beach, feel the sand under your toes and feel the warmth on your skin. If it is a fairy tale place, which it was for me, like a fantasy location, that was one of my anchors at one point in time. I don't know if that would still be it would not be it would not be my happy place now. But at one point it was, so it can be anything. Sometimes for some people it's their childhood bedroom. And for some people it's for sure not their childhood bedroom, it's their adult bedroom. So we build emotional anchors like that. We can build emotional anchors like connections to people who have been like guardian angels to you or mentors or your safe person, whether or not they are alive or not. And so bringing up the emotional connection to them and the safety that they bring in your body and what it feels like to be comforted by them and what it feels like to hear their voice and what does it feel like in your body when they smile at you, and really, really developing those things so that you, again, can have that safety in your body whenever you're triggered and whenever you're feeling unsafe. And that it's not going to be dependent on whether or not someone tells you that they're sorry or whether or not someone calls you back or whether or not, your boss starts being being fair to you, that you can be able to have access to those emotional assets whenever you need them. So it's really powerful, and you use it not only in EMDR if you start to get to a memory that is a little bit deep, but everywhere. You can use these emotional anchors and assets at any time, any place. So again, it's a super cool set of skills and tools. Let me say this before people get really excited to add this to their toolbox. I want to encourage the women who listen to this or the people who listen to this that if you are a hoarder of healing tools, which looks like you are a sucker for a great book, for a great podcast, for a great new hack or tool that can help your emotional and mental development. It's amazing that you are so open to this, but also what helps this stuff actually help you get better is to practice the same tools consistently. Sometimes what I've noticed will happen when people are getting started in their healing, or even if they've been healing for a long time, is they, again, will gather and collect and hoard all of these new tools and stuff. But then when it comes down to actually working through things, they feel stumped. They feel as if nothing is working for them, which is why they are so prone to looking for new tools and new things, because what they have had access to is not hitting the way that it used to or the way that they wanted to. And that's because you keep switching out different tools. You need to find what are your set tools and build that commitment, which is hard for those of us who, are struggle with the intimacy disorder, because the intimacy disorder is not only with other people, it's also with ourselves. It's also with us learning how to be present with ourselves and learning how to, have conversations with ourselves and build this vulnerability with ourselves and be able to look at, okay, does this feel good to you? And no, it doesn't. And oh, yucky. What does that mean about me? And I don't want to deal with that. Can I just get something that just works? And so then your thought goes to be these other tools just were ineffective, right? I need to find the coach. I need to find the person. I need to find the thing that is going to make this better. Because obviously it's the tools and it's not me. It's not my inability to be in an emotional connection with myself. And that's not being said in any judgment at all, y'all, because to be in connection with yourself when you've been told your whole life that there's something wrong with you and there's something wrong with your emotions and there's something wrong with, when you start to look at those deep parts, that's when people reject you and that's when people abandon you. Of course, you're going to learn to abandon yourself and reject yourself, even if it looks really pretty, even if you're doing it in a very clean, aesthetic way, if you're doing it in a very logical looking way. But that's what it is. So go ahead and make a list. If you're one of my students, or if you're somebody else's student or someone else's client, or if you have a therapist you've been working with for a little bit or a lot of it that you really like, go ahead and make a list of every single tool that you've been told to do. gratitude lists, tapping, reaching out to a friend and loved one. My people know about the 3 circles. Self-compassion, affirmations, grounding statements, whatever it is that you have heard to do. Journaling, did I already say that? Drawing, going outside, like whatever it is, big or small, write out a whole list of all those things. And that is your magic toolbox. That is your cheat sheet. And you can add this on top of it, but you need to start practice being consistent with what you have, because you have everything you need inside of you. I promise you do. And we have to learn how to give this time to, often when we are trauma survivors, including just emotional trauma. And for those of us, because I know there are a lot of people who listen to this podcast who are like, well, I wasn't physically abused, I wasn't sexually abused, but everything you're talking about, I relate to. Like, this is me. But I had a great family. My parents stayed together, or maybe they didn't, but, we had food. They came to my games. We were financially well. I don't know why I feel this way. It's emotional neglect. It is in some way you were not being seen, heard, valued the way that you needed to be. Maybe if there were contingencies to it, whatever. But like I was saying, as trauma survivors, we need something to work, and we need something to work immediately. So I'm going to flee the situation. I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to blow up. I'm going to explode. I'm going to manipulate. I'm going to people please. I'm going to do whatever I can to get the threat and the overwhelm to go away quickly and immediately, because this is dangerous. And so sometimes when we look through our mind's eye at these tools that our coaches or our therapists or these people have given us, we're like, first of all, that ain't gonna work. Like, you try to think like, okay, instead of me journaling, let me think about journaling. Let me imagine myself journaling. And when that doesn't provide relief, you're like, see, I knew that wouldn't work. Or instead of you practicing self-compassion, you think about, okay, what's gonna happen if I practice self-compassion? And then you start to think about, man, this is hard, or last time I tried to be nice to myself, it didn't stick. And so instead of you actually practicing self-compassion, you think about it and you psych yourself out of it. Like this is the Jedi stuff that the bad Jedi, not the good Jedi. The Darth Vader, the Anakin, like that's how we will do these mind tricks on ourselves and convince ourselves that things don't work and lead us to wanting to find something else. And so just do it. Do the tools, do the gratitude list, write down 25 things that you're grateful for. Sit and write on that paper and stare at that paper and say, I ain't got nothing to be grateful for, and struggle and be pissed for an hour, and then see how you feel at the end of it. Like with gratitude is one of those really simple ones that you're like, I'm grateful all the time. And, you'll rattle off 1 or 2 things in your brain that you're grateful for, and you don't feel immediate relief. And you're like, that's not going to be the right tool. So let me find another one. But y'all, gratitude is so great because it shifts your mind and the obsession or the rumination of whatever crisis you're going through. And it teaches your mind and it shows your mind that there's more, that is bigger than that this situation that you're going through, even if it's significant, that is minute, and there's so much more available to you. And your brain being able to see that shifts things in your body and provides relief. And you trying to do it in your brain is not the same as writing it down. Also, this is the general you, but for anybody that this relates to, you wanting to discount a tool because you already know it, or I've already done it, or I'm already a grateful person, that's not going to work for me, again, are all the ways that we can limit ourselves and stop ourselves from doing something that we may have never done before. Maybe you think you've done it, but maybe you haven't. Or maybe you have done it, but this version of yourself, this level of you, maybe this tool will hit in a different way. Maybe the way that you have learned about yourself, learned about other people, maybe what you have access to inside of you is bigger and more expansive. And maybe it will work this time, you know. So always try to stay in a place of curiosity and openness, because that's what's going to help. That's what's going to help you move forward. Okay.
Everyone loves TV Dad.
On the next TV Dad, presented by Progressive, TV Dad gets us through heartache.
Chin up, sport.
Oh, hey, TV Dad.
You know what heals all wounds?
Time?
No, it's remembering that drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds.
But Jen still doesn't want to be with me.
True. I actually saw her with your friend Brian earlier.
Wait, what?
Listen to your TV Dad. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
At Kroger, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we're dedicated to doing up to a 27-point inspection on our fruits and veggies, checking for things like scarring. In fact, only the best produce like zesty oranges and crisp carrots reach our shelves. Because when it comes to fresh, our higher standards mean fresher produce. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on your favorites with the Buy 5 or More, Save $1 each sale. Simply buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, we hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. Let's take a quick break to say thanks to this week's sponsors. So going back to the main topic and tool for today, emotional anchors. Another emotional anchor that you can do is connecting to your highest level version of yourself. And so this is something that is really all the rage right now. It's been around forever, but right now in our time of manifestation and, you know, positive thinking and what you're calling forth and vibes and energy and feminine energy, you know, all that stuff. We often hear about connecting to your highest level version of yourself, you know, making a vision board about who she is and all that stuff. But here's the thing about this being an emotional anchor. Your next level version of yourself, your quantum level version of yourself, your highest level version of yourself, the you want to be, in other words, is a real person. She's a real person that exists. She is not someone or something that's far off and 10 years down the road and maybe one day, hopefully I get there. She is you. You are her. And what trauma does is it makes us think that everything we're supposed to be and everything that we feel in our gut and our soul that we want to be and aspire to be is something that we have to earn, something we're not worthy of, something that we have but we lost and we can't get it back, something that people will judge us for. Like the trauma and what our mind and our body has learned to do to protect us from that trauma has taught us how to detach from that, how to detach from something that is already real and already something that we are in possession of. And so part of what healing does, you've heard me say this before, is it's just returning us back to start. Healing is not an adventure where we collect all these coins and collect all this armor to become this great person. What healing is stripping away all of the lies, all of the gunk, all of the deception, all of the projected shame that people put onto us for us to unveil and see that these dirty rags we've been covered with have been from other people and other things, but we've always been magnificent underneath. We've always had, whether or not you connect to being covered in armor, like this shiny armor, whether or not you can connect to being in a giant princess gown, or whether or not you're like me, like I want to be Khaleesi underneath, you know, like I want to be that royal presence, but with a little bit of mixture of both, you know. Hopefully you're tracking my metaphor, but you have always been this person. And so with that said, that next level version of yourself that you think can be so wise and so confident and so aware, she's already inside of you. So at any time, you can access her and get her thoughts, her feelings, her opinions, her motivations, her wisdom, her ability to say, girl, doesn't even matter. Go ahead and move forward. You have access to that inside of you. I promise you do. And so The emotional anchor that I want to lead y'all through today is connecting to the highest level version of yourself so that you can use her as a resource. And please feel free, depending on who's listening to this, change the gender pronoun to what fits best for you. But I'm going to use her throughout the meditation just for simplicity and flow. Connecting to your highest level version of yourself, just like all things in healing, is not just mental and not just you thinking, and doing a vision board is great, and you writing in a journal is great, and you making a list of what your goals are great. And you need to be able to feel in your body and connect with her in your body, because what will happen is if you have spent 30, 40 years of your life being in fight or flight mode, which looks like working all the time is fight or flight mode, which looks like numbing out and not going out for the things that you want, which is fight or flight mode, which looks like over obsessing about relationships as the answer is fight or flight mode, which is being in narcissistic relationships, whether or not it's with a parent or a lover, you are automatically forced in fight or flight mode. Your body does not automatically know how to relax. And that's important, because to be happy and content, that means you have to be comfortable relaxing. That means you have to be comfortable not looking for the other shoe to drop, not looking for the next threat over your shoulder. That means you need to be comfortable learning how to receive. And that next level version of yourself knows how to receive. That next level version of yourself knows how to be happy and to let things be. Your next level version of yourself knows how to balance ambition without using it as a way to distance and detach herself from other people because she's afraid of being emotionally overwhelmed or abandoned or rejected. You get what I'm saying? And so part of your healing is the mental work, it's the talking things through, but really is you learning how to let your body, let your nervous system rest into being happy. So the first part of this exercise is going to be connecting to your body. And if you're anything like me, when I first started this work, I was like, I'm fast forwarding that shit. Like, like I'm connected to my body. I'm at work listening to this. I ain't got time. And, everyone is welcome to do this work at the pace that they need to and the comfort that they need to. If you are someone where being in your body is scary and uncomfortable for you, if it feels unnecessary, if it feels like a waste of time, if it feels awkward, I get it. But I cannot tell you how much I get it. And I want you to do what feels comfortable for you and to trust your process. Don't ever do something because someone else told you to do it and you're just trying to comply. You need to learn how to trust your own intuition and guidance. And sometimes your intuition, what you think is your intuition, is your trauma response. And sometimes your intuition is absolutely your deep inner voice that knows what you need. And the only way that you're going to be able to figure that out is to follow it. But for this exercise, we're going to get you connected to your body first. We're going to get you grounded so that you can hopefully be able to visualize and receive the next level version of yourself. Okay? So this part is going to be about 19 minutes. And hopefully that is short enough for those who are multitasking. If you are driving, don't do this while you're driving. You maybe, again, for those of us who are very used to having distractions, you may think, oh, okay, I can be relaxed. Like, maybe you're a big baller and you got a Tesla and you're on auto drive, or you're on cruise control and you're like, I can do this while I'm driving. Your brain is still going to be on. So please don't do this while you're driving. Don't do this while you are walking down your neighborhood either. If you are taking a walk, go ahead and find a bench and sit down. Sit down and be in your body. Be grounded. Stop moving. If you're doing this, if you I know a lot of you listen to this podcast while you're like doing laundry or doing chores or you're working, you're on YouTube and it's playing from the TV, a lot of you have told me, then go ahead and close your office door if you're at work. If you are at your cubicle, ain't nobody paying attention to you. You got your AirPods in anyways. Just go ahead and sit there and meditate. Let yourself move through this. If you got kids at the house, go ahead and give them screen time a little bit early. Put that little iPad on. They'll be okay. They will not lose any brain development from being on the iPad for about 20 minutes. Whatever you need to do. If this is an exercise that you want to do, find that time, find that space for yourself. Okay? So that's it. Let's go ahead and jump on in. So in this exercise, we are going to be using the principles of embodiment to help you get in connection with your body, with the resources that you have inside of your body, and helping you build awareness so that you can access it at any time. So we're going to start off this exercise with us getting grounded, with us connecting to ourselves, connecting to our breath, and again, getting grounded in this moment. So go ahead and take a deep breath in and hold it. 2, 3, and exhale. 2, 3. Again, inhale. 2, 3, and exhale. 2, 3. Continue to breathe at that pace. Noticing and allowing that with each inhale, it gets deeper. And each exhale, you're able to release a little bit more energy. A little bit more activation. As you continue to breathe at that pace, it's important for you to know that if breathing exercises or embodiment exercises are new to you, it is really common for you to feel really fidgety right now, for you to want to move, for you to be thinking, what is this? Is this going to work? Or even for you to be thinking and trying to anticipate what's going to come next instead of being in your body. These are all common trauma responses that we've learned that it's not safe to be embodied. It's not safe to be connected to ourselves. It's easier for us to be on high alert. It's easier for us to feel as if we are in control. And so when things happen that are outside of our control, it feels very dysregulating. It feels very scary and overwhelming. And we want to do everything that we can to get the people or the situation or the circumstances back to where we want it to be. And we'll attempt to overpower, to manipulate, to run away and shut down, to numb out, anything to protect us from this hurting us. And again, as you continue to breathe at this pace, I want you to know that embodiment and getting in touch with your body and connecting to resources in your body is so powerful because your body is yours. And in your body, you do have the ability to connect to yourself. Even if you've never done it before. So as you continue to breathe, we're going to sink deeper into wherever we are, whatever position you are in, whether or not you are seated, whether or not you're laying down or reclining. Go ahead and allow your body again to rest deeper into that space. If you find that it's hard for you to do because of your anxiety, bring your attention to your breath. Every time you start to get distracted or wonder what's coming next, or think I can't do this, notice your breath. What that means is, how does it feel for the air to go inside of your lungs? And how does it feel when it exhales? Is there a sound? Is it light? Is it heavy? Become curious about, am I inhaling through my nose or my mouth? Am I exhaling through my nose or my mouth? And what's the temperature of it? Is it warm? Is it cool? And wherever you are, go ahead and roll your shoulders back, settling deeper into this position. Noticing where your feet touch the ground, if they're touching the ground. Can you wiggle your toes? Are you here? Are you present? Noticing all the places that your body meets the surfaces you're connected to. So can you feel the back of the chair? Can you feel the cushion underneath your bottom? Can you feel the weight of your clothes on you? So in this exercise, we are going to be building an anchor of connection to our highest level self, or at least our next level self. And this is going to be a part of you that you can access at any time you feel distressed, nervous, upset, as a source of comfort for you, or even as a source of celebration. So right now, in your mind's eye, in whatever room that you're in, if your eyes are not already closed, go ahead and close them for me now if you feel comfortable with it, or you may lower your eyes down to the ground, whatever makes you feel the safest. But in your mind, I want you to notice and bring to mind What does your next level self look like? And notice if she can come into the room with you right now. Notice if they just magically poof and appear. Notice if they come bursting through the door or if they politely knock. Notice if they're sitting next to you or if they're standing across the room. But this is the version of you that you aspire to be. The part of you that you feel that you're doing all of this healing for. The part of you that's free. The one that knows who she is. The one that's confident. And if confidence isn't an issue for you, but maybe holding back your emotions is, this is the version of you that's connected to her feelings. That can let people in to love her. And that she loves freely as well. The version of you that is balanced, available, and connected to her worthiness. In this room, notice how she stands. Notice what she's wearing. And notice what is she saying to you. Does she have a sense of humor? Is she thoughtful and deep? Is she connected to what you're feeling right now? And she reaches over and holds your hand. And notice how you feel to be around her. Do you feel lighter and open? Do you feel intimidated or ashamed? However you feel, ask her what she thinks about you. Who does she think that you are? What advice does she have for you right now? Is she looking at you with judgment? Or is she looking at you with knowing compassion? Is she holding space for where you are right now? Whatever it is that you may be dealing with right now, big or small, whether it's a crisis or just you're trying to make a decision on your next step, a job, a volunteer opportunity, an investment, a conflict with a parent, a sibling, a romantic partner. Turn to your higher self and ask her, what does she think about this situation? What does she tell you? And notice if you're able to receive what she says, even if it's difficult, whether or not it requires you to make a hard next step or it feels so positive and good, it's difficult for you to receive. Notice this as a source that you can trust. Do you feel as if you can trust her? Now, if you haven't already, if this feels as if she is a source that you can trust, that she is someone whose confidence, openness, beauty, and expansion is something that you want, ask her if she can continue to be a resource to you. If you can continue to reach out to her whenever you need. And if your higher self is anything like my higher self, she'll say yes, but she may also turn to you and say, girl, I'm always here. I'm always within you. I am you. I am you. You are me. And you have everything you need inside of you. You just have to believe that you do. And be ready to embrace it, even if it's scary. So notice what it feels like to receive that love from your highest self. Where do you feel that in your body? Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it in your legs and your arms? Does it feel warm or cool? Is there a throbbing sensation somewhere? Does it feel as if there's a weight that's been lifted somewhere, tension released? Or is there more tension in a certain place of your body? Notice where you feel those sensations. And if there's an emotion attached, whether it be love, happiness, confidence, warmth. And know that you can access these same feelings that connecting to this part of yourself has given you at any time. By tracking what this feels like in your body, where do you feel the warmth? Where do you feel the compassion? Where do you feel the comfort? At any time, you can access her, either through your mind's eye or by connecting to these parts of your body. Again, she is you, and you are her, and you have everything you need inside of you. So go ahead and take a few more deep breaths. And exhale. And inhale again. And exhale. And when whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and come back to this space. So I hope that you enjoyed that meditation. I hope that you were able to connect to that next level version of yourself. If you had any difficulty, that's totally okay. There may be some inner child work that you can do. There may be some self-belief work to be able to receive a next level version of you that is good, that is abundant, that is something that you deserve. And so bring that to your therapist, bring that to your coach. Of course, if you're one of my recovery school students, come in the community. It is available for you there, or support is available for you there. But yeah, would love to support you, or I hope that you find the support that you need when it comes to that. Before we end the podcast, though, I want to share that if you wanted to use this emotional anchor with a loved one or someone who is currently a safe space or was in the past, someone who is tangible to you, then you would follow the same process of getting grounded. But what I would lead you to do is to think of a memory of them, a memory when you felt really happy with them, and to imagine it, imagine where you were, imagine what you were wearing, what they were wearing, what their face looked like, what were they doing, what did they say to you, and imagine all the places that gets activated in your body. What does it feel like, and where do you feel that in your body, and for it to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's what I would lead you through. And so I encourage you that if that resonates for you to use that. I will, I've already promised to make that meditation for the recovery school students. So when that is available in the community, or when that's available in the curriculum, I will post it in the community so that you can access that. For any students who are recovery school alumni, just as a reminder, any updates that I make to the program and any happenings, I post them in the community, because there are lots of updates and there are lots of things that happen, and do not want to I do not want to overwhelm anyone's inbox. I ain't trying to get unsubscribed for over there, especially if there's something that you may need to know. So we post it in the community, so you can check in there every once in a while, even if you have moved on, if you just want to know what's new and what's updated. And you also always have lifetime access. There was some kind of glitch that happened in Teachable, and some people were booted out, and it was really weird. So if you're one of the people that we miss, we try to give everybody back access that happened to. If you're one of the people that we miss, please let us know. Please email us at support@blackgirlsheal.org. I have created this program for it to be a lifetime resource for you. So as I continue to add things, like I'm going to add this, I want you to be able to use it and refer back to it if you need it. And if you don't need it, then that's totally fine as well. But just know that is available for you, and it should be available for you. And for those who are interested in what is the Recovery School, it is my coaching program where I help women go from love addicted to love balanced, love avoidant to love available, and love deprived to feeling their love worthiness. And so you work at it on your own pace, and I put in all the tools and curriculum that I teach here and more in that program for you to use and to grow. And you have access to our community of other women who've gone through the program as well, for feedback, for advice, and for support. So you can learn more about that by going to therecoveryschool.com and joining us there. So that's it for now. I'm sending you all love as always, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. And until next time, take care of yourselves. Hey, so thanks for listening to today's podcast. If you enjoy what you've learned, it doesn't have to stop here. You can check out the blackgirlsheal.org website and grab the worksheet for this week's episode, or any of your other favorite episodes from our shop, with an overview of the main points, healing circle discussion questions, and journal prompts and challenges that you can take with you into the week. Also, you can check out any of our other self-study and coaching programs, resources, and freebies to help you heal from the intimacy disorders of love addiction, love avoidance, love deprivation, and the trauma that causes it. The best time to start or restart your healing journey is now. We hope you enjoy all of these resources, and until next time, remember you are so loved, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care of yourselves.
At Kroger, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we're dedicated to doing up to a 27-point inspection on our fruits and veggies, checking for things like scarring. In fact, only the best produce like zesty oranges and crisp carrots reach our shelves, because when it comes to fresh, our higher standards mean fresher produce. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on your favorites with the Buy 5 or More Save $1 each sale. Simply buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Welcome to BreezeLine, where you'll say, ta-ta, T-Mobile, because we have 99.9% network reliability, and they don't. That's right. Time, weather, or even streaming in a basement won't affect our superior service. That's because we have real internet, backed by our fiber-powered network. And T-Mobile, well, they just have a 5G cellular network. So for a limited time, find your perfect speed with prices starting at $19.99 a month for 24 months. Terms and conditions apply. Go to breezeline.com to learn more.